Hello, this is Ted the Old Star Wars Nerd, and today I'm going to continue talking about Tales of the Jedi, and this section is titled The Freedon Nadd Uprising. Now, the audiobook I listened to was written by John Whitman, which was based on the comics written by Tom Veitch and distributed by Dark Horse Comics. This story takes place 4,000 years before the times of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Alright, some of the characters we have in this story, the same as from the last one. We have Jedi Master Thrawn, we have Jedi Master Arca Jeth, Ulic Qel-Droma, Qel-Droma, Tot Danita, Oswillum, and Nomi Sunrider. And for the bad guys, we got Alima and Satal Keto, King Omen, Warb Null, and Freedon Nadd, and all their supporting characters that go with them. This is just the major people. Now, the setting, this mostly takes place on Onderon and around the city of Iziz. This is mostly a story of the dark side army trying to take over Onderon and get back the remains of Freedon Nadd. Story summary that I wrote for the Freedon Nadd Uprising, Part 3 of Tales of the Jedi. So, following the defeat of Queen Aminoa in the bowels of the Iziz Palace, Jedi Master Arca Jeth, along with various other Jedi and Beast Riders, attempt to move the sarcophagi of Freedon Nadd and Aminoa to the fourth moon of Onderon. During the funeral procession, the group is attacked by the Naddist Dark Side Army, soldiers of the Dark Side cult which worshipped Freedon Nadd. The attackers are led by a large armored Dark Jedi named Warb Null, and he proceeds to lay siege to the procession. During the attack, the sarcophagi of both Freedon Nadd and Queen Aminoa are stolen by the Naddists, while Null holds off the several Jedi Knights by engaging them in lightsaber combat. Ulic charges in and tries to engage Warb Null, but since Warb has the objects he came for all secured, Null and the Naddists retreat aboard their ground-boring war machine and escape back into the ground beneath the city of Iziz. Realizing that darkness still reigns on Onderon, Master Arca Jeth, Ulic Qel-Droma, and Queen Gallia descend into the catacombs and find a King Omen encased in a robotic exoskeleton to keep him alive. Master Arca asks King Omen for assistance in finding the Naddists. However, using Sith magic taught to him by Freedon Nadd, King Omen is able to knock Master Arca Jeth unconscious, while Ulic and Gallia are confronted by the spirit of Freedon Nadd and his right-hand subordinate Warb Null. While Ulic battles Warb Null, King Omen uses the distraction to have Master Arca's body taken away. Ulic is able to send out a message to the Republic leadership about the situation on Onderon and calling for reinforcements to fight the Dark Side army led by King Omen. Master Thrawn is able to convince the Republic to send help after a long speech. Meanwhile, two aristocratic cousins, Satal and Alima Keto, creators of a dark side cult known as the Kraith, are in possession of a Sith spellbook that they had managed to secure from the Galactic Museum on Coruscant. After learning that they cannot read it, the two decide to set out for Onderon in hopes that the Naddists would help them. Nomi readies for departure, but is met by Master Thrawn. She tells him of her memories of Andor and her fears for the future as a Jedi. Master Thrawn speaks of the freedom everyone has to do or do not anything they so choose, which confuses Nomi. Thrawn then departs. Oran Kira and his Beast Riders are starting to fall back during the fight with the Dark Side army. The fighting continues while the Jedi struggle to hold their ground. At the same time that Nomi and reinforcements from the Republic are arriving in space around Onderon, Alima and Satal show up and make their way through the battle and down to the planet. The Jedi reinforcements from Ozus arrive on Onderon and join the battle alongside their fellow Jedi already there. Along with a Republic attack fleet, the Jedi storm the fortress and free Arca Jeth, and are again confronted by the spirit of Freedon Nadd. The Keto cousins eventually make their way down through the dark side catacombs and find King Omen. Satal explains what they need, and the old man gives Satal the gift of a Sith amulet. With the amulet, Satal is then able to read the contents of the book. The two cousins are then introduced to Master Arca, who is being held captive in Mandalorian chains. That is when the Jedi Knights burst through the doors to confront King Omen, who uses his dark side magic to stop them before they could free Master Arca. Freedon Nadd then tells the Keto cousins to take the book and the talisman somewhere safe, and that in time, Freedon Nadd will contact them again to begin their training. Realizing that Omen can no longer be a vessel for his means, Nadd withdraws his dark side influence from the old man, causing Omen to die. After a brief war of words with Master Jeth, the spirit of Nadd once again retreats into his sarcophagus. With the death of Omen and the apparent defeat of Nadd, the Naddist rebellion is effectively put down by the Republic and the Jedi forces. Following this, the sarcophagi of King Omen, Queen Aminoa, and Freedon Nadd are all successfully transported to Onderon's fourth moon of Zun and interred there by the Jedi. Alright, so that was written by John Whitman, based on Tom Veitch's comic. Okay, for discussion, here's a few things I'd like to talk about. If you have other questions, please post them down below in the comments section, and we can always get back to those. So, the Dark Side Army has tried to take over the planet of Onderon, but were stopped by the Jedi. Following that, the Jedi were able to get the remains of Freedon Nadd, Queen Aminoa, and King Omen off the planet and hopefully remove the power the Dark Side holds over Iziz. Other than that, right now we have Alima and Satal with the power of a Sith amulet and a spell book at their command, but they're on the run now. And the Battle of Onderon is over, and only major death so far has been a few of the lower villains that we don't really care about. Alright, so like I said before, a couple things I'd like to talk about. Let's start with Mandalorian chains. Alright, so also called Mandalorian manacles, they're restraints that are made from Mandalorian iron. They're also known as Beskar. If you've been watching the Disney Plus series called The Mandalorian, you should be familiar with Beskar. Mandalorian iron, also known by its Mando's name of Beskar, was an extremely durable iron ore whose only known source was the outer rim world of Mandalore and its moon, Concordia. The Mandalorian warrior culture that inhabited Mandalore mined their planet for Beskar, using it in the creation of weapons, armors, and starships, occasionally even selling the rare and valuable metal on the galactic market. The introduction of certain additives during the smelting process served to increase the strength of the natural ore, and Mandalorian metalsmiths guarded the secrets of forging Beskar from outsiders, passing along the techniques from one generation of metallurgists to the next, strictly within the Mandalorian community. A versatile metal, Mandalorian iron could be melted into multiple alloys and forged into various configurations. Then we come to the Dark Jedi. Okay, at this time, they seem to be using the term of Dark Jedi as like a Jedi who does not follow the Jedi way of the light side of the Force. Instead, a Dark Jedi uses the dark side and the light side for personal wealth and power. They don't care about the Sith or becoming extremely powerful in the Force. A Dark Side Jedi just wants personal wealth and political power. That was the kind of feeling I got. But then we kind of look and see what the Wookieepedia has, and we see that Dark Jedi, also known as Fallen Jedi, were Force sensitives, frequently former Jedi who chose to deny the light side of the Force or follow the dark side. Although Dark Jedi originally referred to a Jedi had fallen to the dark side, it could also refer to uninitiated. It could also refer to uninitiated. Still can't do it. It could also refer to uninitiated Force sensitives who received no Jedi training but began their careers under another Dark Jedi. Others were simply Darksiders who did not follow the teachings of the Sith or other dark side organizations. In some cases, Dark Jedi also included artificial Force sensitives who served the dark side, such as the Reborn and the Shadow Troopers. I'm not familiar with those. Maybe we'll get to those. Despite the fact that both groups called upon the dark side of the Force, Dark Jedi were not the same as the Sith, though the first group of Dark Jedi were the predecessors of the Dark Lords in the ancient Sith Empire. The term Dark Jedi was a collective and vague name of dark side practitioners, be they fallen or rogue Jedi, that used Force powers and a lightsaber, but were not always members of a certain organization, whereas the term Sith referred to a definitive heritage or ideology. Alright, and it goes on about Dark Jedi and Sith, and sounds really interesting, but that'll be for another day. I could probably take up a few videos going down that road. Like I said earlier, at the end of this book, most things seem well. Jedi are alive and working on cleaning up Onderon. It looks like the Dark Side Army has been defeated and made to retreat, and the Keto cousins are gearing up to do some major evil things. This was the end of the first Tales of the Jedi audiobook, just labeled Tales of the Jedi. The second one is labeled Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, and that is what I'll be doing next. It covers 6 issues of comics that were published between 1994 and 1995. And they go along like something like this. Ulic Qel-Droma and Nomi Sunrider are enjoying a peaceful time in the galaxy until the Kraith strike against the Jedi. At a secret Jedi meeting, the Kraith place servant droids which are really programmed to kill. Many Jedi are wounded and killed, including Qel-Droma's own Master Arca. Qel-Droma seeks revenge against the Kraith. During his mission, he struggles to hold on to the light side of the Force and resist becoming the next Dark Jedi. Alright, so that sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Please come back and watch that with me. So once again, I am Ted, the old Star Wars nerd here, and I thank you so very much for watching this, and I really appreciate it. Please click that like button and even the subscribe button and even the little bell over there if you want to be notified each time I put up a new video. Thanks again. Please come back. This is Ted. Be excellent to each other.